Boop.
Fixed it. Really, Crow? Two, three, four, five. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. My knee just cracked. Some old songs now. Bumblebee, tell me what you want from me. I'm doing good. Thank you, voice. Voice, can you hear the music? Sweet little bumblebee, tell me what you want from me. Give me one moment. Oops. Please come rescue me. Little bumblebee, I know what you want from me. Doop-a-doop-a-doo-da-da. Crow. Crow. Uh, you're a good boy, Crow. Good Crow. I'm a. You're a good Crow. No one could see the face palm. Is Crow good? Question mark. That is a good question. Alrighty. I got a kitty. I have a kitty who's laying across stuff. You doing this, Peaches? Did you? Did you? Do you want me to hold your paw? Interesting. Oh God. The hiccup hurt. Peaches. Peaches. Stop. Uh, okay. Stop chewing on that. You know, I said exactly what order this would be in, and I don't even remember the order it's supposed to go in. Because I know Risa picked one, Voice, Mongoose. Everyone picked one to do, and I don't remember the order I'm supposed to be doing it in. Glad I posted it to myself. 3724. So 3. So 7. That's 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is birthday party. Yeah. 2 is growing, and then 4 is the dinner. So we get through those first, and then we do the other ones. Yep. Yep. Stop chewing on that. Why are you chewing on that? It's plastic. Don't chew. You lazy ass cat. Yeah, hi. There's no denying it. Today was the very last day of summer. Tomorrow you're. Wait, what? Peaches, I love you, but you managed to make me hit the end summer thing, and I don't like that. I, I ended the summer. Stop chewing on that. It is plastic. You cannot eat that. Stop it. Okay. It was a pleasant afternoon. The sun shone brightly and the breeze tugged lightly at the balloons as I hit my fucking mic. Strung around the park. You and Coof had just been dropped off at Miranda Eckert's birthday party. You didn't really know Miranda. Last year was the first time you had a class with her, and everyone at school knew her as quiet. The shy girl stuck to her own friend group like glue. I had been surprised that she was having such a big party. You looked around the expansive park, a spacious recreation center in the next town over, and noticed a bouncy castle. Miranda had a bit of a reputation for not caring if she acted mature, like other teens sometimes did. It made a certain amount of sense that her party would match that. You thought Miranda was sweet. You thought Miranda was weird. You didn't have any opinion of Miranda yet. You wanted to get to know Miranda better. I'm so sorry, Peaches. Come here. Oh my god. Come here. I'm so sorry, Peaches. Sorry, hold on. I gotta give my cat loves and affection. You okay? I didn't mean to. I'm sorry. Okay, you may go now. I gave you love and attention. Did you want down? You thought Miranda was sweet. I accidentally booped Peaches on the nose. By accident. Yeah, she gave me a very dirty look after I did it, so I had to give her kisses. Yeah. You'd always gotten the vibe that she was nice, and inviting you to her party proved it. You liked that she wasn't obsessed with proving she was grown up. Maybe hanging out today would be fun. You hadn't had choice in coming here today. Your moms insisted on it after you got the invitation, as did Cove's mom and dad. So both you and he were driven over to the next town with presents in tow. All the parents had been pretty firm about going to a birthday if you'd been invited. You agreed it was best to attend. You wondered if it was an adult thing. You were happy to be here. You wished you were somewhere else. You felt out of place. You were willing to give it a chance. You wonder if it was an adult thing. You didn't get why it seemed like such a straightforward conclusion to them. Code made a small noise which caught your attention. He looked around, scanning the area. He fidgeted with his gift in hand.
So...
Any idea what we're supposed to do with these? You looked at your own present, then towards the seating area. There was a table filled with snacks and drinks, supplies for various party games. Past all that, you spotted one table in the back that seemed to have a truckload of gifts. You pointed it out to Cove. Let's chuck the presents off over there. Lost you then, nothing at all. Cove nodded with a smile and turned to where you gestured. He thought too. Cool. You and Cove began to walk. Walk over to the present table, flattening the well trimmed grass beneath your feet. See them, nothing at all. You you walked past groups of people, classmates in semicircles, broken up into the usual friend groups. Chatted away, you, or maybe Cove, received the occasional greeting or friendly nod. However, as you passed by even more people that you had never seen before, you became aware that there were more strangers here than not. It was more crowded than you expected. Miranda Eckert, the quiet girl, was hosting the most populated birthday party you had been to in a long time. You looked at the new faces, thought you saw something of Miranda in them. Cousins, nieces, nephews, maybe? Parties could be a big deal in her family. The both of you reached the table. You set your gift down in an empty space, brushing some confetti aside, and Cove placed his gently next to it. He looked at the present thoughtfully.
Hey.
Hey, what'd you get her? Before you had a chance to answer, Cove opened his mouth again and tapped his gift. I found this sparkly backpack. I figured she could use it for school or a trip or something. Your mom said taking you out shopping the other day. You had searched through the store and voice through the store, and ultimately you picked out a stuffed animal. You grabbed a necklace and bracelet set. You had found a lighthearted adventure book. Cove broke his arm. It's why he has that long scar on his arm. You chose a yarn craft kit that made her toy. You let your mom's pick. You honestly appreciate what she had picked and chose something else. Yarn craft. Why not? The color picture on the box appealed to you. You showed off the different variations you can make with the kit, along with the bold message of easy and 43 pieces included. Hopefully the kit was as cool as it looked. You described it to Cove briefly, and he had no objections.
Not bad.
Not a bad idea. He brushed his hands against the side of his pants. I really hope Miranda likes her gifts. But I think we both did good. With that, he gave you a sunny grin. You touched the gift one more time, then stepped away. That the direction needing to put stuff away, the two of you weren't sure what to do next. Felt a little awkward, and Cove shrunk in on himself as he looked around. There were more guests heading to the present table, so you turned away and wandered over to a nearby tree where you wouldn't be in the way. From there, you both inspected the area and planned the next step. You were glad that Cove had been invited too. At least he had his company in this unfamiliar place. You watched him and he gave you a nervous grin. It reassured you a little and you smiled back. What next? Cove did not appreciate being put on the spot. He was just as unsure as you were. Birthday party stuff? It didn't seem to be time for cake. Well, with people still arriving. Nothing else seemed to be organizing yet either. He noticed himself and tried again. We could find Miranda. That was an idea. It made sense to greet the birthday girl. Okay, we could say hello. Wish her a happy birthday. Ask her what she wants people to do.
Sounds good.
Sounds good. At that point, it was decided. The Miranda hunt had begun. You wandered around. Anytime you saw someone with Miranda's hair color, you got a little closer. But more than once, it turned out not to actually be her. Hey, look. Finally pointed over to the real Miranda. She smiled slightly when you both approached, but ducked her head. She seemed a little overwhelmed with being the center of attention today. Hi, Cove. Hi, Beanie. Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Thanks.
Thanks.
I'm really glad you could come.
I like how some of these are just voices. Some are just voiced for me. Thanks. I'm really glad you can come. You all stood awkwardly. Miranda did seem generally happy, but there was still a distance between you two. This is a great-looking party. Thank you. Is there something we need to do, or should we just hang out? Well, you can talk to people if you want. There are games that are going to start soon, and the bounce house should open later if you feel like jumping.
There are games that are going to start soon.
Then after that, it's cake and present time. We'll have ice cream too. After that is when people start going home. Hope that's okay with you guys. Cove nodded. He seemed a little more confident about the situation now. Thanks for letting us know. You grinned at her and she nodded back. Miranda waited there and you became hyper-aware of the silence forming. You heard a shout of Randy, and Miranda brightened up. A total 180 with how swift she had been with you.
I gotta talk to some more people. Bye.
Gotta talk to some more people. Bye. The birthday girl ran off to her friend, leaving you and Cove with at least a little more idea of what to expect. Both glanced at each other wordlessly. All that was left now was finding something to fill time till activities began. You tried to chat with people around. You just talked with Cove. You found a quiet spot to sit. You just stood around where you were. Let's go and chat with people. Cove kept at your side as you socialized. It was a lot more of introductions, small talk, but you weren't surprised. You ran into some classmates and ended up talking about a rumor that there would be a new art teacher in the fall. Cove didn't buy the wildest of rumors about her, that she was an international art thief who was hiding out from the law. You wondered how a story like that even got started. One of your classmates laughed and said she'd heard it from someone who'd been in summer school and happened to see a truck with some paintings wrapped in the back. She didn't understand the stretch either. Suddenly a loud voice boomed over the crowd. The constant buzz of conversation dropped as one of the adults, maybe Miranda's dad, asked the kids to gather around because it was game time.
Huh.
Wonder what's gonna happen. He tried to scan the area to make a guess. He made a joke about something that wasn't gonna happen. Scan the area to make a guess. He saw a picture of a donkey hung on a tree, a table with a lot of candy and even more balloons. Guess we could be playing Pintail on Donkey. I doubt it. Then what do you think that's all about? He pointed to the post of the tailless donkey. He shook his head. I've never seen anybody play that in real life. The adult announced that the children under 10 had the first turn on the bounce house. For everyone else, it was time to play Pin the Tail on the Donkey. You had called it. Possibly. Cove raised his eyebrows. He was surprised for sure. You were excited. You thought it was kind of silly. You were a little weirded out. Hi, Peaches. You were fine with the game. You didn't know how this would go. You were excited. Why not? Pin the tail on the donkey sounded like fun. Maybe you could even win. He casually stepped up to join the line. The donkey in question was a cartoony poster with big eyes that looked more like ping pong balls. It was positioned a few feet above the ground on a tree trunk. The teen who arrived first was blindfolded and then spun around. He was nudged to the sign and away from the other kids so he wouldn't stick someone with a tail instead. Smart. Unfortunately for him, he placed the tail on the donkey's head like some kind of bizarre earring. He wouldn't be winning that far from the target. His next opponent did far better by landing it on the donkey's back. The spectators clapped politely and then the line moved up. More teams tried their hand at it. Some got closer than others, but no one had gotten it perfect yet. Soon it was Cove's turn. Oh, God. No, it's all good. He was blindfolded and spun around, and I can read, and spun just like the others. At this point, it was a match. It was a close match, and everyone was waiting with bated breath. Cove approached the donkey and stuck the tail on without any hesitation. Cove stood back and removed his blindfold, cheering when he saw how close he was. He turned his head over his shoulder and grinned at you. Your turn. You shook your head and stepped out of line. You took your turn. With the blindfold on, the bright park became utterly dark. As you were spun around, the sounds around you seemed to get louder. At least you could tell the direction of the bounce house from the shrieks of the younger children. You stopped spinning and stepped forward. Tail in hand, it was time to give it a stab. You placed it directly in front of you. You placed it to the right, placed it to the left. You reached up and placed it up. You bent and placed it downward. I forgot what height I was. Did I make myself small? Aw. Directly in front of you. Press the tail into the target and step back. You took your blindfold off. Check your results. People cheered from behind you. Indeed, pin the tail on the donkey. Right where donkeys prefer their tails to be. I got the high. You beamed at your accomplishments and felt a surge of pride. It was perfect. You looked back at the crowd behind you and your eyes met Cove's. He was impressed. You got a small thumbs up. A few more kids took their turn. One girl managed to somehow pin the tail on the opposite side of the tree. You're pretty sure it had to be on purpose. With the line empty, the game was finally over. The adult running thing started to inspect the donkey. At this point, this time was more tails than donkey. However, you were the undeniable winner. No one could get closer than perfect. After your name was announced, everyone cheered and clapped for you. Once more, you came up to the front and the man gave you a handful of candy as a prize for the victory. Thank you. As you shoved the candy into your pocket, Cove walked up to you. Congrats on the win. You were humble about it. You felt bashful over winning. You reveled in the win. You were humble about it. Come on. wasn't that amazing. It was probably luck. Maybe you'll win next time.
Sure.
Uh-huh. You got really close. He shook his head with a rueful smile. Thanks, Beanie, but it's alright. That was your win. You have to share the candy with Cove. You kept the prize for yourself. Offer the candy up. Do you want some? A sparkling iced soju, yes. He held out a lollipop and Cove accepted it carefully. It was mystery flavor, so you had no idea if he liked it or not. This Beanie shares. Beanie doesn't share food with IRL. IRL? No. Beanie. Especially if it's cheesecake. No touchy. I do have to go and go turn on the dryer, so I'll be right back.
Yeah, my work stuff's in there though, and I kind of like to have them done tonight. Yeah, that's okay.
He unwrapped the treat, and it was a swirl of pale blue and translucent green. Cove gave it a tiny lick. What's it taste like? Your victory and berries, I think. You both laughed at that, and you gave him more candies. An older teen walked up, tall enough to tower over you and Cove. You felt a little intimidated by the stern-faced teenager until she started to speak. Her voice was low but friendlier than her tough frown would suggest. Hi, I'm handing out party favors. Do you want one? She showed you party hats. She insisted they were the key to a true partying mood. She had two options, either a colorful headband with two tiny party hats arranged, almost like ears, or a tiara with a star on it. They were both very festive.
It's okay.
Yeah, thanks. You knew the teen hadn't actually glared at him. Her default facial expression just seemed grim. You wanted one of the headbands. You put the crown. You didn't want one. Headbands. Let's go. Purple. I didn't even go through all the colors. I just saw purple. The teenager handed you the hat with a surprising amount of gusto, given her expression never changed. She gave you a serious thumbs up for taking it. Then you encouraged Cove to pick one. Then you let her go. Let's encourage Cove to do this. Come on. He held a pink headband out, hat in one hand and crown in the other. Tried to imagine what they look like on Cove. You really should try it. It'll be great. Cove looked back at the hats, then at you. The sigh, he grabbed a hold of one. The team with the hats clasped as much as she could with all the hats in her hands. The no teenager nodded approvingly as you both and went to pass out hats to more people. Put the party hat on your head with a smile, and it fit well. It was surprisingly comfortable. Really completes your look. When did you get so fashionable? He smirked, and you just adjusted your new accessory. I'm a party animal now. It does look very good on me, thanks. I don't know why I'm doing this. I'm a party animal now.
Oh?
Really? Of course. Cove nodded with a thoughtful look on his face. The party spirit is contained in party hats. Does that mean they're haunted? You snorted at the suggestion. Consider the hat on your head. It didn't seem haunted, but maybe that's what it wanted you to think. Take it out my head. Cove finally put on his own hat. He was nervous about it, his face uncertain. He picked the tiara!
That's...
I don't know about this. I feel kind of silly. Does it look weird? You look great, Cove. It's completely perfect. It looks silly. You just giggled. You shrugged. You shook your head. No. It's completely perfect. That is amazing. Cove scratched his head, being careful not to displace his hat. A blush was on his cheek. Thank you. After that, the people in charge quickly set up the next game. Teenagers milled about until they were told to find partners. You try to listen to the rules, straining your ears to listen to the adult announcing what you're supposed to do. was a simple game. One person in a pair would throw candy while the other had to catch it in their mouth. They caught it, the pair would move on to the next round where everyone would take a step back and the former catcher would become the thrower. The game would continue, the players getting further and further until one set of partners were the only one left standing, or everyone lost in a round. About yes. Yeah, it says it says, and the former catcher would become the thrower. They're just, it's not really doing anything. They're just throwing candy. You're throwing a piece of candy and then someone is trying to catch in their mouth. Technically California, because it is hinted that this is someplace in California. At least based on my knowledge. Okay. About half the guests had already found partners. They moved fast, you noticed. Cove had his eyes on you. Could we be partners? Neither of you are all that familiar with anyone else here. It'd be the safe choice to pair up. You're going to be Cove's partner. I don't want to play. Let's do it. Let's do it, partner. Cool. He beamed and he started wondering about your respective candy catching capabilities. Two rows of players facing each other formed. Cove tilted his head towards them and he started to head over. You both lined up directly in front of each other. It took a while to pass out the candy. Your hand in a small bag of gummies that smelled strongly fruity. You noticed Cove took it upon himself to do a taste test of a red one across from you. Voice will not let it go that Cove broke an arm. They're not bad. You should have waited. You tried one for yourself. What did it taste like? You tried one for yourself. Why not? You ended up grabbing a purple gummy. Let's go. It was sweet and you guessed it was supposed to be grape flavored, but it was mostly just really sugary. I don't like grape flavored stuff. I said grape flavored. I will state this, as much as I don't like grape flavored stuff, I will drink grape energy drinks. As shown when I drink the Purple Haze Bang. And then it was time to begin. Kozra was set to throw first. He smiled nervously, his eyes wide with seriousness. The grin and Cove's smile looked more genuine, less filled with tenseness. The game was on. Huh? I think that says something about how loud you have it. The adult in charge shouted for the throwers to go. You and Cove were only a couple feet away from each other. With Cove's carefully tossed, you caught the candy easily. Like you, most of the other players moved on to the next round. There were a few gasps in the row as everyone took a step back. The round was harder with pairs further apart, but not overly so. It could be done if both partners tried. You did your best as you tossed it. You had fun with it, but still tried. You threw the candy without a care. You made sure it missed. We're not that mean. We had fun, but we still tried. Grabbed candy and wanted to do a trick shot. Cole must have noticed something in your expression because he raised an eyebrow. Threw the blue candy from hand to hand, then high in the air. Very quickly, as it came down, he slapped it towards Cove. He jerked his side catch it. Despite his worry, your shot had landed true. Cove laughed with amazement at your toss, or the fact that he had caught it, or possibly both. From his face, he knew he was the least excited to get to the next round. No! Peaches! Cove swung his arm and made eye contact with you. You nodded, and the green candy flew towards you. You tried your best to catch it. You carelessly tried to catch the candy. Hold on, did I actually... The next round beginning, you took another step back. Cove was even further away now, but he made an okay sign. He was in this to win it.
I'm not touching you.
She's touching you.
Touching you. Not touching.
me.
It's free air.
Like... Boop. Oh. Are you having fun sniffing my arm? Beanie is scratch and sniff. Cove swung his arm and made eye contact with you. You nodded, and the green candy flew towards you. You tried your best to catch it, casually tried to catch the candy. You refused to have a green candy in your mouth. Really? You did not try to catch it. Tried your best. Come on. Found the arc of the candy, open your mouth wide. It had a slight spin on it, and you tilted your head to the left to compensate. You bit down on the candy, grinning with your victorious catch. I can... It tasted sweet and vaguely like a Slurpee. Yeah, Beanie. Clove was thrilled. He was entirely invested in the game at this point. Yes.
Game design, they teach. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but it's like I think it's like TTP, time till penis or something. I know what you're talking about. It's a speed run. Oh, it's a speed run category. Yeah, it's time until someone can write the word penis in a high score, draw a penis in your game, make a username, name penis, well, until penis is a part of the game. Like, and it's like, you know, whatever. And it's like, some games have like, there's like world record categories for how fast people have been able. And the most popular category is draw penis, games where you can potentially draw a penis. That's like people's favorite
Cove's crown is very cute. I just broke my avatar's neck doing that, Peaches. Peaches was tilting her head like up towards me, so her nose was like just there. So I leaned down. She just like tapped her nose to mine. You and Cove were still in the game. You knew this was the final round. Only a few other pairs were still left. Cove was determined to win. You could see it in the clench of his jaw, the careful way he watched you. You are charmed by his attitude. You equally wanted to win. You didn't want to let him down. You thought this was kind of funny. You felt nervous under the pressure. Peaches, don't you dare. You equally wanted to win. You made it this far. It was time to go all the way. You looked around at your remaining competitors and prepared yourself. Cove gave you a firm grin, and you prepared to throw. Your fingers grabbed an orange gummy from the bag. It felt solid in your grasp, even if your hand was starting to get sticky from touching all the sugary sweets. Cove leaned his face towards you and bent his knees, ready to catch. The time came. You looked at the candy and then Cove. You tried your best. You threw it casually. You messed up your throw on purpose. You tried your best. Candy flew like a missile straight towards him. He positioned himself effortlessly for it. Cove caught the candy just like that. A wide grin spread on his face as he victoriously chomped down on the candy. Yes! Along with the chair, he jumped up in excitement and pumped one arm. He looked to your left and then to your right. You see the few remaining pairs walking away, commiserating over their losses. With some shock, you realized that you and Cove were the only ones who made it to that round. You won. You watched the moment Cove clicked into the same realization. His face brightened like sunshine, and he jogged over to close the distance between you. You stepped closer to meet him halfway. You high-fived Cove. You put an arm around Cove. You jumped into a hug. You ruffled Cove's hair. You nudged him in a friendly way. You smiled at him. Jumped into a hug. Why not? His eyes went big when he realized you were going for a hug. He smiled and caught you, hugging you back tightly. You'd won this together. He giddily stomped his feet in place in front of you, as though he couldn't contain his energy. We did it! You adjusted the hat that had nearly fallen off throughout the event. Nice catch. Woo! We demolished the competition. Nice catch. Nice throw. The game runner strolled over and merely gave you both a bunch of more candy on top of letting you keep the gummy bags. It was quite the collection. Cove laughed over just how much candy you both had acquired. Between this game and the pin, the tail, and the donkey, you were swimming in sugar now. The candy tossed over, you were going to need something else to do. You didn't have to wait long. You heard someone in the crowd shout that the bounce house was officially open for the older kids. You and Cove shared a look. Cove smiled, and you knew he wanted in. Both ran over to the bouncy castle and kicked off your shoes. You crawled into the inflated castle with Cove hot on your heels. There's a couple other teens inside already. You started to get a feel for bouncing. Cove hopped from the middle to the side and back. Just after you landed from a particularly high jump, someone else snuck in. It was the birthday girl herself. Hi, Miranda. Hello. Hi, birthday girl. You waved. You just glanced away. Hello. Miranda looked happy. She waved both her hands at you with a megawatt grin. Hope you're having fun. She hopped around with her friends in front of her like a kangaroo. It was a surprisingly effective way to clear distance in the bounce house. She then jumped high, kicking both her legs out to the side, and touched the tips of her toes with her fingers. Wow, Miranda hadn't run out of tricks yet. She jumped a couple more times, gaining height before doing a backflip, dunking into a ball. She ran to land on her feet, but didn't stick the landing. She tumbled back and fell on her butt. Cove clapped, and Miranda inclined her head almost like a bow. She was back to jumping in no time. You're so good at this. She bounced close enough so the bounced close enough to the two of you to talk without shouting across the way. Cove was bouncing and slowed down to accommodate their conversation.
My family gets these every year. And we have a trampoline in the backyard.
My family gets these every year, so we have a trampoline in the backyard. You're so lucky, Miranda. That's really cool. I want to do flips too. You add along to the conversation. You clapped for her stunts. You're so lucky, Miranda. Miranda giggled a bit, and then her eyes sparkled. Hey, I can launch on someone, but I can launch someone if you want. If I jump in front of you, then your bounce will go higher. Okay, launch me, not me. I'd rather just watch you remain silent. Okay, launch me. Sure. Miranda leaped over to you, her excitement clear on her face. Cove watched with interest. She explained more clearly how this was supposed to work. You got ready to bounce on her cue. 3, 2, 1. The moment she came down, you jumped high. The force of her, just as she had said, helped launch you up. They rushed past your face, and then you were coming back down. Your feet hit the bounce house hard enough to help launch Miranda up. A little as well. She giggled some more, and the two of you took turns bouncing each other up. Cove clapped or offered suggestion, but it was becoming clear that he had wanted to turn too. Miranda invited him to join and tried to synchronize your bounces to launch Cove up super high. The first time resulted in everyone crashing down in a pile of laughs. By the fifth attempt, Cove managed to catch some serious airtime. Woo! You all had fun bouncing around. You twirled, Miranda did stunts. Cove fruitily tried to touch the highest tip of the castle ceiling. You and Cove chatted to Miranda more than you ever had at school. She truly was the queen of this bouncy castle. Whenever someone did something cool, everyone would cheer. If you felt others would help you up. Eventually, more people wanted to take turns in the bounce house, so you and Cove left. As you slipped on your shoes, you saw Miranda get drawn into conversation with a group of adults. She will be talking to them for a while. You and Cove decide to take a break and hydrate. You went to the party table and grabbed some ice water. Cove handed you a party noisemaker he'd picked up from the same table. He blew on his, and it made a funny sound when it unrolled. Cove downed his drink in a couple of gulps. He had gotten pretty into bouncing after all. You were still sipping on your water when Cove blew on his noisemaker again, then again, and again. It was almost a tune. You didn't recognize any particular melody, but a noisemaker also wasn't an instrument. The noise cut through the hum of the other party guests, loud and noticeable. Yes, Cove to stop. You start blowing on your own noisemaker. You blew your noisemaker back at Cove. You're amused by Cove's antics. Oh, let's blow it back at Cove. You blew hard enough to unfurl the paper completely straight. It jutted towards Cove, almost tapping his chin. Cove was going to let that stand. He retaliated and blew his back at you. Nearly touched your nose. It was a game now. Both of you tried to land a light hit on the other. Cove managed to get your chin while he scored right in between his eyes.
Oh, great. You people again.
Oh, great. You people again. Someone vaguely familiar shouted, and you snapped your head to the side. Cove's noisemaker dropped from his mouth. The speaker stepped up, and there was no doubt. It was Jeremy, that mean boy you met at the start of the summer. You groaned at the sight of him. Oh, hey, it's the bowl cut kid. You felt very uncomfortable and didn't know what to do. You instantly got angry at his presence. You tried to ignore Jeremy being there. You tried being polite. Poor voice. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. Let's just try ignoring. Just gonna try ignoring him. The easiest way to go, right? Ignoring. Maybe he'd wander off if you didn't interact. Why are you here? Cove's tone was defensive. You watched Jeremy's face turn slack as if Cove's question was the idiocy above all idiocies. Didn't I explain this? He hadn't, so both he and Cove exchanged a look. Do you have memory loss? Or are you really that stupid? Seriously.
I didn't walk here.
My parents brought me. Apparently I couldn't just stay inside like I wanted. No, they insisted I get out, enjoy the day, and have fun on vacation. Blah, blah, blah. He said enjoy the day and have fun on vacation like some people would say scrub the entire bathroom. or listen to an off-key singer for 10 hours. They fell in the park because they hate the beach. Too bad I also hate parks. Oh, it's dirty here. They don't know anything. Oh, and then they saw the stupid party decided to bother some adults by asking what was going on. They think maybe we could be included. It's moronic. Get it now? That's how my parents are. Annoying and embarrassing. Why would anybody want strangers at their birthday? Why can't they ever just leave things alone? He laughed loudly and his eyes shot daggers at some grown-ups that presumably were his parents. Yeah, that's really awkward. That doesn't sound very bad, and all you can do is complain about it. Sucks to be you. He tried to be friendly and welcome Jeremy to the park. He didn't bother trying to respond to that mess of a rant. Again, just keep quiet. That was not your problem and you wanted to keep it that way. Jeremy's eyes slipped away from you, taking the rest of the park for a bit. It was a little awkward. It was possible he didn't know what to do, but then he spoke again.
So
How can
dumb.
people really go around in those embarrassing party hats? Do they think it's fun or something? How could a human be so dumb? It's just kind of nice to do party stuff. Jeremy scoffed, unimpressed, and the expression on his face was nasty as he spoke. Not surprised an empty-headed person like you would think that. Jeremy looked over you, completely dismissive. It's so rude, you can't help but feel offended. Cole's face hardened. He seemed more offended than when anyone actually insulted him personally.
Hey!
Just because you don't know how to be happy doesn't mean no one else does. And it's not our fault that if you hate everything. It's not okay for you to take it out on Beanie. She isn't doing anything wrong. You are. Jeremy seemed unfazed by Cove's defense and sniffed. Beanie can humiliate herself on her own. She doesn't need you to step in and do it for her. You poured your drink on Jeremy, you pushed Jeremy, you punched Jeremy in the face. You drowned out his words with your noisemaker, you stood still shocked. You teared up. Noisemaker. You're both doot. You're doot. It didn't take long for him to piece together that you weren't going to let him speak without interruption.
Stupid.
How stupid. He shut his mouth, though, and finally stopped talking. You're a dick. You're ruining someone's birthday. I'm going to find your parents and tell them what's going on. Don't say anything like that ever again. You laughed at his reaction. You said nothing. You're ruining someone's birthday. People were starting to watch what was going down. Your argument was exactly quiet at this point. Why don't you just leave us alone if we're so awful? Jeremy glared even more and howled.
Dumbasses.
Talking to you is pointless, dumbasses. He sucked off like the last time you saw him, muttering under his breath. You blew your noisemaker after him with a final long doot. Cove sighed in relief after Jeremy was gone. He relaxed, but only for a moment. He knows just how much attention he drawn from the other guests. Luckily, he hadn't gone on long enough to get a real crowd. A concerned adult in a blue button-up shirt approached you and asked who that was and if everything was alright.
It's okay.
I'm fine. Cove looked at you cautiously, asking just as much as the dog if you're okay. Everything's fine now. You don't have to worry about us. The concerned adult lingered for a few seconds but nodded and left you alone. The Jeremy fiasco was officially over. Cove rubbed his eyes, clearly ready to put all that nonsense behind him. Then he started laughing. It was a surprise laugh, breaking out of his chest without any actual joy. It was nervous disbelieving at all the complex emotion brought about by one meeting with Jeremy. I can't believe it. He spoke in fits and starts. The look on his face already started with it was hilarious. How could Jeremy be like that? He shot at us. He barely knows us. And it was at a birthday party for someone else he's never met. He agreed Jeremy is totally nuts. You wish that you had done something more. You hoped that you would never see him again. You weren't sure how to feel. You were just happy Jeremy was gone. You all saddened that he was so mean. You're just happy that he was gone. Hopefully he stays away. Cove seemed to think about his next words carefully before he spoke. I don't think it matters what we do around him. Jeremy's just gonna yell no matter what. We shouldn't worry about it. Do you want to tell your moms about Jeremy, I mean? He always picks a fight. Maybe they know how to handle someone like him. Thanks for asking. He said to bring it up to your moms later. You wanted to keep this between you and Cove. Said to bring it up to your moms later. Why not? I'll let them know everything.
All right.
Okay. You patched the Cove for making him wear the party hat. You decided to drop the topic. Should we apologize? For making him wear the party hat? Mm. Hi, Rav. I'm broke. Get me after my money. Why? You sound an awful lot like someone I know. I can't put my finger on it. uh, ad started. I have rebranded. Boop. Thank you for the boop voice. You think my hat's broken? I can't get that to actually stay sitting on my head. So quite honestly, all right, now I'm playing with the hat. It's going good. I'm sorry, Cove. It's my fault. You were wearing the hat in the first place. Cove shook his head. If anything, he seemed surprised at your apology.
Don't worry about it.
I don't mind that you did. It's been fun. This whole day has been fun except for Jeremy, and he's gone now. He reached up and flicked his hat with pride, giving you a small grin. It made you happy. Finally, you bent over to pick up the noisemaker that Cove dropped when Jeremy appeared. It might be too dirty to use now, but you didn't want to leave it there. He accepted it softly when you offered the little favor back to him. Thanks, Beanie. I like how we could be there for each other. It makes me feel better about that kind of stuff when it happens. Yeah. Cove suggested that you should find a seat at one of the tables. It was almost cake time and he wanted to be prepared. It was a good reminder that the party wasn't over yet. There's a free table there. Let's get ready for some cake. Hugo tried to settle down after the last event. You took seats across from one another at one of the park tables. There were a few attempts to chat, but for the most part, you simply watched the adults run around to set up the cake cutting. Jeremy kind of insulted me. So. They're roughly 13. Why are you broken voice? Because you are playing Reaper with us. Bounce House is funnier than what I did today. There was a minor panic when who you assumed was Miranda's dad apparently forgot the lighter for the candles. Another man went through and started asking the other adults for matches or lighters. They weren't having any luck until the grim-faced teenager who had been passing out party had pulled a green lighter out of the ice cream cooler. While the lighter was put in the cooler, it remained a mystery. Though the party hat girls find it was time to get things going again. Funner. Well, wait, what'd you do today, Rev? I'm not eating any cake either. My character is, though. Oh! Are you okay? I sleep, but was too dirty to sleep. Myrna sat at the head of the longest table. A large chocolate cake was set in front of her. She lit all 14 candles with a cooler lighter with a big smile. The adults started singing Happy Birthday, and the rest of the guests joined in. At the end of the song, Myrna blew out the candles with a dedicated huff. She closed her eyes, and you saw her silently mouthing something. Maybe it was a birthday wish. Myrna cut her own slice, then one of the grown-ups took over cutting the cake. Another adult passed around plates of cake slices with a scoop of vanilla ice cream to guests. Eventually, the cake got around to you and Co. Just lullaby, everyone. Really felt like it wasn't gonna end. That was putting me to sleep. But wait, there's more. Hit it again. Voice, red, blueberry. Really sounds like he's having fun. Philip was pleased with the treat in general. The cake looked rich and moist. It smelled quite chocolatey. You only wanted to eat the ice cream. You only wanted to eat the cake. You wanted both the cake and the ice cream. You did not want anything on your plate. You want both the cake and the ice cream. He's in a picture of them. Oh. Yeah. They really are not pretty. They're beyond their last legs. That is Ow. Yeah. We need new rotors and a new caliper. But it's fine. I know how to change them now. That's good. You took a bite of the ice cream. The vanilla wasn't bad, but it was a little bland. Rude. The chocolate cake, however, was a rich flavor. Cove then took his fork and started mashing up some of his cake. The cake resembled a pile of crumbly chunks. He started mixing it into the ice cream. The melted parts of the ice cream made a kind of a chocolate cake soup. He made a chocolate cake soup out of cake and ice cream. Let's go. You raised your eyebrow. You told him you do the same thing. You thought it looked gross. Never done that, but I want to now. You didn't react. At this point, we've known Cove since what? +5 years now? You didn't react. So if he's mixing his dessert, that wasn't your business. Cove contentedly chowed down on his concoction. One advantage to his mix is that the ice cream seemed to catch most of the crumbs that would usually fall from eating a cake. Unlike some of the kids around him, Cove's shirt remained clean. Start eating your dessert in earnest. You enjoyed yourself plenty. Cove suddenly put his fork down on his plate and stared up to the sky with a faraway expression. He checked but didn't say anything attention-grabbing. Jesus Christ. This actually is better than the ones in cups, you know, with the little one spoons. But I still kind of want that instead. Remember what kind he was talking about? Oh yeah, like the ones handed out at the barbecue before the fireworks happened.
Right.
Right. Cole smiled nostalgically at the thought. You could picture a younger Cole for a moment, the same look in his eyes. You offered him a bite of your dessert? Yes, if you could have a bite of his dessert. You smiled about the memory yourself. Shall we offer him a bite of our dessert? Smile about the memory to yourself. Miranda then started to open her gifts. She systematically attacked them out into presents like a pro. She checked for any cards and read them loudly for opening a gift. She smiled at every present, including the ones you and Cove got her. You were glad the presents were accepted. It took time, but eventually Miranda got through all the gifts. She was very sweet and polite throughout it all. Party went until the sun began to set. By that point, most of everything had settled down and people had begun to leave. Any of the guests whose parents had stayed for the party were already gone, except for Miranda's family. Only a few kids still waiting for their parents to come get them remain. You and Cove included. Miranda's family were cleaning up, and as a guest, neither you nor Cove were supposed to help with that. Instead, you both had decided to take it easy in the bouncy castle. It was somewhere out of the way where you could casually wait for your ride. Miranda had also elected to hang out with you. You weren't even bouncing anymore. Cove laid on his side with his back to a wall, and Miranda sat across from him with her legs stretched out. You also made yourself comfortable. It was nice and warm in the little building. It also felt like you had some privacy, which was nice. You could all speak openly here. Thanks for coming. She looked down, but continued shyly. It's been really cool to get to hang out with you a little bit. Thanks for letting me come. I didn't think I'd be invited. Thanks for me too, Miranda. Yeah, I wasn't expecting it either. I'm so happy I could come. You shrugged. Just not to respond. Thanks for me too, Miranda. Miranda just smiled a little more. So, did you notice anything happen earlier with some people you didn't know showing up? She had to think about his question a little. It was apparent that she didn't have an encounter with Jeremy, since there was no instant recognition. I heard about something. Some other parents were talking to my parents when their kid came and forced them to leave the park. She tilted her head to the side, finding it weird but also not important. Then everybody had cake and ice cream. Cove smiled uncomfortably. That's good. Clearly worried that the Jeremy confrontation would have gotten to her, like he didn't seem that anyone had overheard or passed along Jeremy's cruel words. I can speak. Cove rolled over on his back and sighed contentedly. Miranda seemed confused but wasn't going to push. You got up and started to bounce. You laid back and closed your eyes to rest. You changed the subject. You told her about the ordeal. You got up and started to bounce again. You came to your feet and hopped in place. Miranda lit up and followed your lead. You both started leaping around and trying tricks. Cove sighed and attempted to stay down, but you could see the moving floor was jostling him. He wasn't going to get any rest down there. Cove, could we launch you? We're almost bouncing you from over there. I want to see what would happen if we actually tried it on purpose. Cove agreed and rolled to the center of the bounce house. You and Miranda took your places on either side of him and started bouncing. It was hard to synchronize your jumps exactly. Once you got your timing down, you were able to launch Cove a few feet in the air while he remained in a cross-legged position. All three of you giggled. Eventually, Cove decided to get up for real and join the act of jumping. You played around together until it was time to go home. At the end of the day, you thought it had been quite the party. Woohoo! Hmm. Let's see. Second would be growing. Early one afternoon, you found yourself in the living room with your family. It was another one of the summer days where it felt too hot to go outside, but it was too uncomfortable to do anything inside either. The air conditioner was cranked up as far as you could negotiate it, but everyone was still being pretty lazy. You, your moms, and sister were lunging around while the TV blared on in the backdrop, ignored by all of you. You specifically were lying spread eagle on the carpet, sitting cross-legged on the floor, perched on the arm of the couch, draped over the coffee table. Sitting cross-legged on the floor. You looked out the windows of the backyard, not that there was anything of particular interest to watch. Elizabeth broke the silence with a loud groan. You glanced over. She was lying on her back, over the couch, massaging her calf with one hand.
Ugh.
Look, I feel terrible. I'm dying in this house and my legs hurt. Mom looked up from the magazine she'd barely been flipping through and frowned, concerned. Could you have strained them somehow? Elizabeth flailed briefly, then flopped onto her side with a heavy sigh. I don't know, it just hurts.
Sweetie.
Oh, sweetheart. I got up from her seat at the kitchen table and walked over to your sister. She laid pat on Elizabeth's shoulder sympathetically. I'm sorry you had to deal with that. Maybe it's growing pains. You could be taller by next fall. Elizabeth scoffed. She didn't look impressed by Mom's assessment. I'd rather be my height forever than deal with this. Mom looked over to leaning against the back of the couch. Kids, they grow up so fast. Soon Elizabeth will have a home of her own, maybe even with a nice husband and some kids. She feels like it. She sniffed loudly and wiped at her eye, but you could tell that it was just a bit. You tilted your head even though you knew Elizabeth liked guys. It was hard to imagine her with a boyfriend or a husband. She only seemed invested in hanging out with her group of friends, not chasing after boys. Mom must have agreed with you because she shook her head.
No.
Let's not exaggerate, she's still practically a child. But if you do pursue romance, Elizabeth can come talk to me about it. Definitely we're always willing to lend an ear. Elizabeth's features contorted in disgust. No way, I'm not talking to my moms about that. Mom's jaw dropped, and she gasped in exaggerated shocked. Her hand came up to rest against her chest. Mom only grinned. She didn't look offended by Elizabeth's quick response at all. You really wouldn't be so bad to come to us. I know what it's like to have a crush on a pretty boy or two. I don't, but I can still listen anyway. Mom snorted at her own joke while Ma burst into giggles. They were having a little too much fun at Elizabeth's expense. Elizabeth certainly wasn't feeling the amusement because she rolled her eyes and said,
Thanks.
I'm going back to my room. I'd rather melt alone, thanks. She strode off towards the staircase, taking the steps two at a time. Your mom stared at her, then turned to each other with raised eyebrows. Whoops, looked like we scared her off with all the romance talk.
Well,
Oh well, we'll get her next time. You watched them titter with some surprise. Honestly, your mom's like women, but you had no idea that Ma liked guys too. Today was the first time you heard her say something like that. Ma, I always thought you only liked ladies. You like guys too? Ma turned to you, happy to bring you into things now that you've spoken up. She smiled and nodded. That's right, I like both. But I like your mom most out of everyone. She's special. Ma's mouth turned all soft in the corners, like it usually did when she looked at her. She pinched Mom's cheek lightly. Mom reached up to cup a hand over Ma's. Even when Ma stopped pulling her cheek, their hands remained clasped together.
You're fantastic.
Thanks, Lonnie. I think most women have charm, but no one can hold a candle to you.
oh,
Aw, Pamela. Ma beamed and kissed Mom on the cheek she had been pinching before. You laughed at their antics. You thought the moment was very sweet. You cringed. Parents were embarrassing. I think it's sweet. You smiled to yourself at the sight. No matter how often your moms expressed their feelings for each other, it was always nice to witness it. Ma looked back to you, letting Mom's hands go with a brief squeeze. She settled down next to you, and Mom followed soon after. You know, I'm also here to listen to you whenever you're ready. That offer isn't just for Elizabeth. In fact, I think that talk might be needed sooner for you. After all, you already have someone, isn't that right? Mom shook her head and elbowed Ma, but it was futile. Meddler. You blushed fear. I can't. I'm giggling. I'm a good listener, too. You blushed fiercely. You also elbowed her. Ma, I don't have someone. Yeah, that's true. Whoops. Not what I wanted to pick. I'm gonna turn off the face captioning thing. Ma. Ma only giggled and smiled, not looking the least bit apologetic. There's no rush, of course. You can take all the time you need to figure out what or who you want.
It's okay.
Don't think you have to stick with whatever you come up with right now. Either life's nice like that, it can change, and you can learn. Mom nodded her agreement. The two of us are happy to hear you out, and we may be able to relate better than you think, so we won't push the topic, at least most of the time. She gave Ma the weakest, scathing look possible while being unable to stop grinning. Thanks. You nodded silently. You shrugged. You don't have to worry about it. I'd rather pass on all that. Thanks. I'll think about it.
Wonderful.
Good. That's all we ask for. Ma let out another exaggerated sniffle. It didn't take a genius to realize it was fake. First Elizabeth and now you, Beanie. Do you have to grow up? Yes, children do that from time to time. Your parents quickly grew absorbed in their conversation about rearing kids. You took that as your cue to leave, getting up so you could spend some time alone in your room, too. They let you go without problem, so you made your way up the stairs. Can I help you, Peaches? Can I help you? Oh my goodness. Baby, why does my hair hurt? I don't know. That's my keyboard! She's touching shit! You wanna lean against something? Get in my arms. Here. I don't know. I'll take Peaches for a while if you want. I bet I can get her to fall asleep. Go on.
You couldn't even open your window, since it was hotter
Oh, wait.
outside, and you just let the AC.
Shift C.
Self-voicing disabled.
Who let the demon in? Peaches did. That was Peaches. I'm putting down crucifix. Let out a sigh once you stepped into your room. It was just as sweltering in there as it was in the living room, possibly even a little warmer. Couldn't even open your window since it was hotter outside, and you just let the AC out. You dragged your feet as you crossed the room. You checked your current sweltering condition in the mirror as you passed by it. Then back to the conversation you had downstairs about growing up and all that. For a moment, you stepped a bit closer to the mirror. You stared into it, then turned away from the surface to look down at yourself. You're definitely growing, alright. It was weird thinking about how you were now, in comparison to what you've been when you were younger. When it came to your body, it was getting some muscle definition nowadays, was chubby, was slender, was heavyset, was sort of scrawny. Do I got the salt? I have some salt. I don't know if it'll work. Got EMF 5. Was getting... So, Peaches turned on the, voice thing, so it would talk for, me. And it always sounds like a demon. You know? Hey, Crow, you still here? One through 5. Pick one. Just pick. You shifted to the side, your head still facing forward, continuing to self-evaluation from this viewpoint. At birth, you were assigned female, and at birth, you were assigned male, and you were born intersex, and... No, yeah, if he wants to choose. Anyone can choose this. At birth, you're assigned female. And, yeah, at birth, you're assigned male. Or you're born intersex. I know my character is technically female right now. I don't think I hinted at anything other than she's just female. Oh, my previous? I've done all of them. Yeah. Just do this and then... I did not keep it over here. Okay. Closing the eyes on whatever it is on or close to. Does this count for intersex? I mean, it was like down here. Why not? For an intersex, and chest was flat. Chest is flat now, but that would likely change as you got even older. You're starting to develop breast. You already had noticeable boobs. You aim not to have breasts through hormone therapy. Your chest was flat, but you aimed to have breasts through hormone therapy. Starting to develop, I guess. Standing sideways, it was easier to notice the slight increase in that area. You reached over and massaged your scarf with one hand, staring intently at it in the mirror. By now, you knew that it was there to stay. You take a step backwards, finished with your impromptu inspection. You locked eyes with your reflection and cocking your head to the side. All things considered, you thought you looked fantastic. You didn't look too bad. You had no idea how to feel. You were simply neutral. You were self-conscious. You just wanted to look different than you did. You didn't look too bad. Slight smile tugged at your mouth. Sure, maybe you wouldn't be a model or anything, but you weren't half bad. You shook your head roughly, putting thoughts of what you were turning into out of your mind. This wasn't time to focus on such things. You had to find something to do in this heat. You shoved over to your bed, collapsing onto the mattress, your brows scrunched up in thought. Time passed slowly, and to your annoyance, possible ideas about what to do were few and far between. You weren't sure how long it had been, but eventually you heard your mom call you from downstairs. Beanie, there's a call for you. Cove wants to come over. Is that all right? You perked up at the words, sitting up in bed, yelled back to her immediately, yeah. You got to your feet and headed downstairs, eager to see your friend. You need to go downstairs soon anyway, because your empty stomach told you it was almost time for lunch. Just as you reached the bottom of the stairs, you saw Mom put the phone back on the receiver. She glanced at Ma, leaning her hip against the kitchen counter.
What a pickle.
Oh, here comes trouble. We better prepare ourselves. Ma clicked her tongue in clear disapproval of Mom's words. He's such a good boy. Cove never wants to cause trouble. He can just be a bit thoughtless and impulsive. Oh, I know. He's very sweet, but that's what makes it more of a problem. If a stranger or some kid from school's egging Beanie on to behave badly, I think we could both agree that she'd do the right thing in the end. But if Cove Holden got into a reckless mood and wanted Beanie to be a part of the ride, can we really be certain of what call she'd make then?
Yes.
Yes, we can. Pamela, Beanie would do whatever Cove wanted. Lonnie. Your mom giggled freely at Mom's reaction. You worry too much about those two together. Look, all I'm saying is that I haven't forgotten the time when they were kids and tried to run away together. Ma just laughed as she turned away, still snorting. Her eyes met yours. She blinked in surprise, then waved at you with an easy grin. Well, what about Voice's reaction? Really? Yeah. He's no bullying my characters. Basically, the parents said, well, Mom said, hey, can we really be sure that she do the right thing if Cove want her to do something reckless and dangerous? Ma basically said, yes. She totally do it.
Oh. Oh.
None. Cove only has the, what about Voice's reaction? So Cove only has the one broken bone. And that was at the very beginning when he is a kid. No other broken bones can happen. Oh, I didn't expect you to come down already, Beanie. I just wanted to let you know what was happening. After you didn't overhear their conversation, he called Mom out on her comment. Well, if I hadn't come out, then I wouldn't have heard everything he said.
Pam.
Oh, you got caught, Pam.
What?
You're saying things too. I didn't say anything I wouldn't have told to Beanie directly. Oh, you're unbelievable. You shook your head at your parents, even as you fought a blush when you remembered just what they'd been discussing. All right, you got me. I'm sorry for being gossipy and saying that about your friend. I can be bad too.
Let's go.
We'll get out of your way now. Mom sighed in mock defeat and made her way down the hall. Ma followed after her with a hushed giggle. Now you were alone in the living room, tasked with waiting for Cove. And that was just fine with you. If it hadn't been so hot outside, you would have visited him at his house a long time ago. He took a seat at the kitchen counter and settled in for the wait. As expected, there was a knock on the door a few minutes later. When he got up and answered it, your neighbor was standing on the other side. He came in once he stepped aside to let him pass, giving a little wave. You greeted him as you typically did. With a wave, a little five, nudge to the shoulder with a noogie with a hug. With a hug. You summoned in your arms and relaxed seconds later. One would think he'd be used to your hugs after all these years. Hey. His voice was cracked as he struggled to say something. You didn't feel worried about that. It was how he usually reacted when you were close by. Cove sighed and wiped. What was that? What was that sound? Nope. The timing was kind of perfect. It sounded like a kissy face as, you know, I went to hug Cove. Thank you for the hydrate voice. Cove sighed and wiped at his face a bit. You know, the sheen of sweat across his brow. He must be glad to be back in an air conditioning place. Careful, Cove is fragile. Across his brow. He must be glad to be back in the air conditioned place, even if he only had to walk across the street to get there. Something going on? Why'd you want to come over? I don't want to do anything. Not when it's like this. He gestured vaguely to the humid air hanging around.
So...
I thought I could at least say nothing with you. Thought that was really sweet. How'd you know I was doing nothing? Maybe I had plans. No, that makes sense to you. I was thinking the exact same thing. You grinned and he smiled back. And that was all there was to it. Both of you were on the same page. Have you had lunch yet? I was going to do it soon. He shook his head.
Not really.
I haven't really felt like eating because of the heat. I probably should have lunch. I didn't have breakfast this morning. Yeah, I get that. Like that sometimes too. You should really eat properly. That hurt. I hiccuped and that hurt. No, it's all good. Mm. Oh. Yes. Mama Beans did have a good Mother's Day. Mama Beans didn't get bugged at all today. Well, until later on in the day when Kenzie had her take her to the emergency room because she had an ear infection. and they needed to get some stuff for it. But other than that, I made a card. I helped Kenzie make a card. And Kenzie made her flowers. And my mom is now deciding whether she wants to keep them home or take them to her work. She's having issues deciding. But other than that, I got my mom a cup. It's a glass cup that actually has like flower details on it. It's really, really delicate. So I like to also state I got it for Mother's Day last year, and I completely forgot about it last year. So I gave it to her this year for Mother's Day. Yeah. Cause I have a hiding spot. And I'll say this, it's in the bathroom. We have this like long ass cabinet that goes to the ceiling. And the top shelf is where I hid it. Cause no one looks up there. Aww. That's very, very sweet. Mm-mm. Oh my god. You're Jacob in the direction of the kitchen. He stumbled after you. Ah, okay. As one, you headed into the kitchen and crossed your arms as you glanced around, wondering what you should scrunch up for a meal. I don't want to eat anything that's warmed up. Is there something cold or not cooked? Yeah. After a bit of back and forth, the two of you conclude that you should raid the fridge and cabinet in order to make sandwiches. With that settled, you had planned to decide on the outside layers first. There was a wide variety to choose from, since everyone in your house had their own favorites. There's white bread, wheat bread, sourdough, mixed grains, gluten-free bread, and pita packets. Pockets.
Hey.
Could you take the grain one for me? Sure. You reached for the grain next, the major decision. You put out the white part too, setting both items onto the counter. When you had to decide what main direction the sandwich would go in. You wanted to make a sweeter style sandwich. You want to make a truly savory style of sandwich. What should we go for? Sweet or savory? Savory. Something savory will make it feel like a real meal. As for the specific ingredients, we got ham, turkey, tofu, hummus, egg salad, lettuce, tomatoes, red onions, cucumber, avocado, peppers, pickles, cheddar cheese, pepper jack cheese, and mozzarella. All of them? That is a giant ass sandwich voice. And I don't think we can. lettuce. Would you cheddar cheese? Ham? Mm. Condiments. For the first thing, touch into and top your sandwich with mustard, mayonnaise, pesto, hot sauce, salt and pepper, ranch. Hi, baby. Give you kitsies. Mayo. Can I help you with something, Peaches? Please don't knock my drink over. Bro, oh my god. Peaches. No. What was that? Do a kitty cat? No. Peaches is happily laying here, using my other cup to scratch her chin. Yeah. Yeah. You're such a cutie. That was everything. You know, to yourself the quiet hum, satisfied. The two of you bustled around the kitchen, opening and closing things in order to collect everything you needed for your individual sandwiches. You focus intently on assembling your own for the most part. When you were close to being done, though, you glanced over at your neighbor. Cove was putting his sandwich together delicately, his brow furrowed and his tongue sticking out just barely. There were open jars of peanut butter and honey near his plate, as well as a banana peel. So he was making a peanut butter banana honey sandwich on mixed grain bread. That sounded great. You didn't think much of that. It seemed weird. That actually sounds really good. Can I help you, Peaches? You kicked me. Did you want something? Did you just want attention? Is it all you wanted? You wanted some attention? Fuck you, Crow. Peaches does not want that. Peach would rather I be sitting down petting her. Give me one moment while I do everything that Crow just did. I'm getting hungry. I'm sleepy. Maybe you'd have one yourself at a different time. Curiosity stated, you turned back to your plate and finished your own creation. Yes. What is it? Time you were done, Kovaru cleaned up his workstation. He turned to face you, studying your sandwich briefly. Oswald tugged at the corner of his mouth. You guessed it didn't look inedible to him, at least. Done? Yep.
Cool.
Cool. You waited as he quickly returned the ingredients and cleaned a few utensils. Then the two of you collected your respective plates. You both agreed on heading upstairs to hang out in your room. You and Cove entered your bedroom while balancing your food on the plates. Nothing fell, so it was a successful trip. Cove took a seat on the ground, stretching out on the hardwood floor in an attempt to keep a bit cooler. He's a cutie, yeah. You look so adorable. Who's laying on her back, showing me her belly? Yeah. Yeah. Who's showing me her belly? Who's showing me her belly? Yeah. 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 You immediately took a big bite of a sandwich, chewed, and then hummed happily. The sandwich was really good, at least that's something. At that point, you sat down and started on your own sandwich. You nodded, you were enjoying your tea, shrugged it was okay, scratched up your face. This did not turn out as you expected. It's not good. Got to get this milligrams. Yep. Obviously, you were a pro at making sandwiches. He leaned back on his hands while chewing and glanced around. His every movement was sluggish. Want to do something? It seemed the plan of not doing anything at all had already worn thin, despite a lack of enthusiasm. Yeah, like what? Maybe, not really. You couldn't even muster a reply. Like what? Peaches has fallen asleep. She's currently laying on her side with her little paws, like, kind of bent. It's just so adorable. Oh, she heard a sound. He rode his head back, looking up at the ceiling. What about Hangman? Latin suggestion, but went along with it. Yeah, neither of you had much energy for something more taxing. You grudgingly humored it. You thought it was a nice idea. Sure, why not? You put your plate to the side and pulled out some markers and scrap paper. As he laid everything on the floor, he skidded back to make more room in front of you. Cole picked up one of the markers with his right hand while keeping a half slice of sandwich in his left.
That's,
Can I pick the phrase? Go ahead, I don't mind. He smiled briefly before he bent over the paper and began sketching the hangman frame. Then he stopped. Can I help you? Yes, I'm looking at you. You kind of whacked the air. It is, actually. Pursuing his lips in thought. Why? Ah! Why? Why do you feel attacked? Yes, we are. Yeah, nothing bad was said. Yeah. Excuse me, hold on. I'm trying to touch my keyboard, but Peaches isn't letting me. He got the end of his marker against his cheek. You watched silently as Cove looked down at the paper, up at your face, and then off to the side in a loop. His marker kept tapping his cheek the entire time. I'm not. Here's an eyebrow. He suggested the game and wanted to pick the phrase, but it looked like he didn't actually have anything in mind for it. Finally, he put empty lines on the paper to signify spots for letters. Alright, you can start guessing. You peered over. His secret phrase consisted of 3 words. The first 2 had 3 letters, and the last had 4. You thought hard about what your first guess would be. Enter 1 letter of the alphabet. Now, I know what it says. I full out know what it says. Would y'all like to take a guess at what it says? We're playing Hangman the game right now. So, would anyone like to take a guess? Oh, Crow just put A. I could do E too. Yeah, you can. You got the first one. Hold on. After the first round, you were about to take another bite of your sandwich when a thought occurred to you. Sorry, there's like little in-betweens I had to read. I wonder if anyone turned off the TV downstairs. The TV. It was on earlier, but no one was really watching. Then everyone started leaving the living room. I know I didn't turn it off. It might still be on downstairs with no one there. Cove smiled crookedly at that.
Oh.
Poor show, playing with no one around to enjoy it. What was it? He squinted off into the middle distance, trying to recall the show's name. I feel like it was some kind of crime-solving drama. Cove nodded sleepily, his eyes closed, then opened again with some effort. Can you give any specifics? Maybe I can guess it? Well, you rested your chin on your open palm, groggily thinking as hard as you could. I remember there was a woman with long blonde hair, I think. She was the one solving crimes, like as a detective or something. There were scenes in a police station because someone got arrested. You lapsed into silence. The both of you thoughtful, then Cove chuckled. It wasn't that funny, but you joined in the laughter anyway.
I don't know.
I don't know what that is. Me neither, and I just saw it. Enter 1 letter of the alphabet. You said R, my dog? There. Good guess. There is an R. Another round came and went, and Cove grumbled as he readjusted himself. His features were twisted in a grimace. I feel so sticky. Oh, I'm going to be stuck to this floor forever now. I'll have to charge you rent then. You can be my new roommate if you want. Looks like we'll both be stuck here forever then. I'm sticky too. No way, I'll pay you off if I have to. You smiled at his whining. I'll have to charge you rent then. Yeah, how much? $50.
What?
I can't afford that. Well, you gotta pay up if you want to stick around. Cub shook his head at your terrible pun and went back to the game instead of answering further. Then he returned to the game. Enter one letter of the alphabet. Also, voice, that last thing has a additional space. Can y'all see it? No, you can't. My hat's blocking it. Here, see, there's there is an extra space. Yeah, you can. Wrong. No, sorry, I'm gonna start adding the little person. Cub spoke up once more, catching your attention. He was peering down at the piece of paper between you, his expression thoughtful. You know, Hangman is kind of a creepy game. Why do people come up with it? Why did they play it? Maybe that's what they had instead of real courts trials back then? I've always wondered about that. I'll have to look up later. It's a really old game. No one's sure where the name came from. I've always wondered about that. So if you fell silent as you try to puzzle out a logical answer, eventually decided to just return to the game. Up next letter. Mad Dog says T voice. What do you think? T or E? Okay. T. There is a T. Yep, that's right. By this point, Cub finished his sandwich. Yours was almost gone too. But now you're getting thirsty. You brought it up to your neighbor. Should we go downstairs to get some drinks? I was thinking that too, but I don't really want to get up. Me neither. You looked over at him, narrowing your eyes with false suspicion. But hey, what happened to you not being able to get up ever again because you're stuck to the floor? That's not true, I mean. We're not actually going, are we? I only thought about it. You rolled your eyes and dropped the issue, defeated. Cove grinned a little at your disappointment over his victory. Actually, wait. Now I can actually do this. Hold on. Oh, I actually do this. Can someone say something?
Something.
Thank you. Just
Something?
testing. I had Discord muted, by the way, this entire time.
Something.
I thought you had that muted intentionally.
I did because I have it playing on the. I had it playing music, and I don't want, but I forgot to unmute it. I'm smart. Do you guys want me to mute Discord? I can.
It's up to
But
you.
no, I'm using you. What are we calling it?
Picture in
I
picture.
got you pictured on my stream. Yeah, we're doing story time with me.
You rolled your eyes and dropped the issue defeated. Cove grinned a little at your disappointment over his victory. Enter one letter of the alphabet. We got two.
I mean to say it's intentional that I'm in here and you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they can hear you. Even though we're not playing the same game, we're like still kind of streaming together.
So 7 letters are left. Possibly less. Next guess?
That's eyeball. Oh, we should do E, right, voice? We should take a vowel at this point. Is there a
I like
category
to
or clue
buy
and
a-
I just don't know it?
No, there isn't. I like to buy a vowel. Yeah.
Okay.
Voice is a vowel. So
Yeah, go for it.
Eat.
Do it, voice. You got it.
that's another one.
I don't know the word, by the way, voice.
Enter one letter of the alphabet.
Hell yeah.
5 remaining.
What do you think? L and N next? Those are pretty common ones. At least they'll help you figure out the word if they're in there. Which one do you want first? Voice. You can choose. Pretty common. Unless you know a wild letter, you want an exotic letter, what are you thinking? Q?
Voice says you pick. You?
No. I would go N if I had next pick, personally.
I think voice is saying you now.
Oh, you pick. Oh, you pick. You. Yeah. Let's go. You. There could be another vowel in there for sure.
He is correct. You're really close. Enter one letter of the alphabet. So we have blank R blank. That's sigh, Crow.
What's sigh?
You made a sigh. You made a sound.
I don't know what
it's
you're
a
talking
sentence.
about.
It's not a word. Oh.
Yeah, it's a
okay.
sentence.
I can see it now.
Hmm.
I thought it was one word that whole time.
Oh no.
Nope.
I didn't see
3.
those spaces in it. I was like, God, what? I was like, what is like? I'm sitting here thinking like, what's 10
Yeah.
letters long? Like,
Yeah, voice called it already. He already gave the answer a while ago.
oh, did he?
And I was just like, oh, let's just play this. Come on.
All right, let's play. Okay, let's keep going organically. I already know it, but let's pretend I don't. So
I'm pretty
I mean, I
sure
figured it out just by
everyone
looking
knows
at the
it.
screen. So I figured it out the way you're supposed to figure it out. Not like I cheated. Like
Yeah.
I read the screen, but like if I was the character and I hadn't figured it out because I'm that dense, I would probably guess an L. But like,
Are you calling
Person's
my
probably paying
character
attention, right?
dense?
I was like, that's what I'm trying
Yes.
to say. Is like this person's paying attention, right? So maybe they should get it and just say you are cute already.
Yeah. I'm good at this game. M.
You are mute.
You- I mean, there's that. So we had O. I mean, we have
Wait, is that part of your character's lore? Is that not a joke?
it is a joke because we don't actually hear the character, our character.
Oh, yeah, gotcha,
So,
gotcha.
but
It's true.
nope, not that either. Gotta add an arm now.
Oh, I do need the eyeball. Okay. There's this jerk again.
We did O.
I have 3 answers. Okay, I need to hit some traps.
Yeah. Y. Since you have UR, you're definitely gonna get it. Shall I just put the last letter? I did M. M is how we got the arm.
We got arms. I should just go grab this before I forget.
You are cute. That was the phrase that Kova had spent so long settling on. You stared at it. A few correct letters in, you had a feeling you knew what the phrase was. Still, you felt butterflies in your stomach at seeing it, clear as day on the paper. You took in the words for a moment longer, then you looked up at Cove. He had trouble meeting your shocked gaze, a smile settling awkwardly on his lips. His next words left him in a mumble. It was all I could think of at the time. You covered your face bashfully. You gave him a playful shove, still in disbelief. You stayed where you were, unable to move. You fell backwards onto the floor from your sitting position. You wrapped your arms around him.
See, this is why I thought that's how everybody always flirted. Is when you're kids, that's how you kind of do it, right? You push each other because you're embarrassed. You can't admit or say how you feel.
Voice, smooth move, broken wing. Oh,
You almost make him sound like Jimi Hendrix or something.
cover
second.
your face especially. Suddenly you had trouble meeting his gaze too. Your hands came up to hide your flush features from the sight. You didn't say anything. No, you're cute. Thank you. I can't believe you, damn Cove. You let out a small squeak. Mr. No, you're cute. Cove smiled a bit more, clearly still feeling awkward about the move he pulled. He turned away from you, his cheeks tinted pink. A moment passed between the two of you. Now would be the perfect time to change the subject, but you didn't. You didn't either. Things started feeling a bit more personal. All of a sudden, you looked into Cove's ocean eyes, bless you, and saw yourself staring back. I really think you're cute. Seriously, did you mean it? Do you really think I'm cute? You didn't say anything. At least his cheeks would match his cast now. Do we say anything? Yeah, you didn't say anything. The words were on the tip of your tongue, but it was hard to break the heavy silence. Thankfully, Cove did it for you. His jaw was set in determination and earnest. Boys, I'm staying out of romance choices. I know better. An earnest look in his eyes. I meant what I wrote, you know. Finally, he broke the eye contact. I've heard at some point you're supposed to start liking types of people, guys or girls or whoever.
I don't know.
I haven't really noticed that yet. Nothing's changed, not in the big way, not for everyone. Not for everybody. But I had to grow up more, but at least with you waited, but he trailed off. He wasn't going to keep talking. You found a little disappointed. You wished that he had continued with what he was saying. He shook off the strangeness of the situation and tried to be supportive. Maybe you just don't like anybody, or maybe you like all types of people. That's normal too. Plus he wiggles. Cole seemed to appreciate that thought, if the smile that appeared on his lips was any indication. But the expression was quick to disappear. He peered over at you, looking nervous. Okay, what about you? What kind of guy or person do you like? He once then seemed to be mentally kicking himself for saying it like that. He considered his question carefully. Did you know who or what you liked? Stuffies, Beanie Babies. Not wrong, voice. You're
All right, sorry about that. I'm back.
starting to have physical
Stuffies, Beanie Babies.
attraction in a general way. You only seem to feel physical attraction to specific cases and in situations. You didn't really have a physical interest in other people. You didn't think you could tell if you had an interest in people physically. There's only one person you'd ever had those kinds of feelings for. One through 5. Randomly pick.
4.
Oh, you didn't think you could tell if you had an interest in people physically. You don't date jet skiers. You're starting to have romantic attraction in a general way. You only seem to feel romantic attraction in specific cases and situations. You didn't think you could tell if you had interest in people romantically. There was only one person you ever had romantic feelings for. 1 through 4. Randomly pick.
3.
seemed to feel romantic attraction in
Don't age us
specific
for your
cases
side.
and situations. Specifically, when it came to how you felt towards boys, found them attractive, you thought you'd be happy to be with one someday. Found them attractive, but you hadn't thought about being with a guy. You weren't physically interested, but you'd be happy to have a romantic relationship with a guy. You generally weren't interested in guys, but there are special exceptions.
Oh,
Could say that. Do too. And how you felt towards girls. Found them attractive. Same thing, just with females instead. For people who aren't exclusively male or female, found them attractive. You thought they'd be happy with non-binary someday. And it goes the same for this. It's basically the same thing, just pasted over with non-binary. Let's just state that. And we answer it all the same way. You found them attractive, but you hadn't thought about being with someone non-binary. Return your attention to Cove. He was waiting patiently for your response. You explained how you felt to Cove. I'd rather not talk about it. You explained.
Oops.
He listened intently, taking in every word as you tried to convey how you felt. His lip perked up a bit when you mentioned having some interest in romantic relationships. Then he scratched the back of his head, sheepish. I'm not really sure how he ended up talking about all this when we started just playing hangman. But it was good, I think. I think so too. You shrugged. It was awkward. The conversation had a mind of its own. You just nodded quietly. I think so too. Cove chuckled a little bashfully. He glanced around, clearly scrambling for something else to say. So have you gotten to go to the beach recently? Yeah, actually, I'm really glad you brought it up. The conversation took a lighter turn after that, and it felt like you got closer that afternoon. Finally, the blazing sun began to set. To your relief, the air cooled down a bit as a result. You pulled yourself off the floor, as did Cove, with some minor complaint. You both stretched your arms, groaning and yawning onto your hands. You glanced out your window briefly, taking in the soft reds, peaks, and purples of the late afternoon sky. Somehow, you had made it through the scorching hot day in one piece. Cove turned towards you, motioning towards your window with his chin.
Yeah, I think I got them all.
Want to go outside? It might be better out there than it is in here now. Sounds good. I could really use some fresh air. Two of you took your time heading downstairs. You stopped briefly to grab a drink of water, then continued on your way. You stepped outside, one after the other, your destination being the familiar hills behind your house. This time of day, it was quiet outside. The flowers blew gently in the wind, petals trembling but stubbornly hanging in there. Felt the breeze cool your heated skin, and you relaxed your shoulders. Cove closed his eyes, releasing a deep breath. I really love it out here. I do too. You do? That's surprising, he said jokingly. Your opinion sure has changed since you were first on this hill. You quietly enjoyed the moment.
Oh, I forgot to lock the door. Oh well.
I do too. Cove smiled. Tendrils of his hair danced with the wind.
You can still get this
A
fast.
beat
enough.
passed, but his gaze didn't stray from your own. His voice was impossibly soft when he spoke up again. I'm glad I met you, Beanie. You're really important to me, you know? Blush at the statement. I feel the same way. That's so nice of you to say. You smile suddenly. You're being too sweet. You're special to me, Cove. I feel so. Your voice came out equally delicate. From the way his features brightened, though you knew he heard you. And Cove reached over and held your hand without another word. Even as the sun disappeared completely and the sky darkened, you and Cove remained side by side for as long as you possibly could.
He's mad.
I should end here and go to sleep. Though I should also get food. No, read it all, Beanie.
Does the order you play him in affect anything?
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
The order is just up to you.
Just curious.
I will.
I'm gonna make some food.
Oh.
I am gonna go get food now. And read out. Send you out to Mad Dog.
Yeah, I'm gonna make food too. I'm gonna stay on though. I'm gonna probably prestige tonight.
You're welcome. And the next time we do this will probably be next week sometime.